And we are live, guys. Welcome to yet another Men of High Value live session. And today we're gonna talk about, let's see. Make sure the chat is on. I'm telling you, man, I'd love to chat with you. I'd love to help you out. Make sure you wake up then at that time, 5:45 in the morning, so that you can participate in the chat. You can participate in the video, and I'm gonna help you to go from zero to hero over the next 365 days. We've come to day 19 now. So things are progressing very nicely. I'm spending a lot of time right now on the fundamentals, on getting your mind ready, on getting your work ethic ready, on getting your time and money allocation and prioritization ready. And I'm excited to get you going. So today we're going to keep on talking about cutting your expenses. Cutting your expenses part 2. Now there's a reason why I've said that if you have women in your life that are not your long-term partners that you've had for a long time, but you still have women in your life, get rid of it, is to cut your expenses. Telling my friend, how about being celibate for 12 months? Good idea, until you manage to get your finances in order. It's key. Women are a distraction and they'll use your money even though you don't even notice it, okay? Even though it's you paying for it every time, they just do. And that's okay when it's done in the proper setting, when you have full control, when you know what you're doing, and when you're rich without her knowing it. So let's see. Yes, cutting your expenses part 2. So what do I do to cut my expenses these days, or to keep my expenses low so that my cash flow can increase? Now, what is cash flow? You've got income. Hopefully it's not one that's specific every single month and it's normal every single month. That's a job income. That's not good if that's the only source of income you have. It's actually very bad, okay? So, but income minus your expenses, then what's left over is your cash flow, okay? So what we want to do is to help you get what we call passive income. Now in the long run, this is what you want to create, passive income. What is passive income? Passive income is a systemized income that does not require your presence or interaction, okay? In the long run. Some people say, well, there's no such thing as passive income. Well, they're wrong. Because passive income is when you've put up a system, you've created the system so that the system works for you without your interaction or presence. That is possible, that is completely doable, and it's not far away. You can set that up in 12 to 24 months or 36 months if you feel you have really low self-esteem. Okay, but if you follow this channel, you'll learn how to create that passive income and get good at it. Okay, it's gonna take time, but we're right now setting your mindsets ready. Okay, getting you ready for what needs to happen in the long term. Okay, so we want to increase your cash flow. Income minus your expenses equals your cash flow. How do we increase it? Number one is we got to cut your expenses. Okay, we're not going to cut it drastically. Okay, if you really want to keep your lifestyle that you have now, that's fine. Okay, it kind of sucks for you because it's going to take you longer to succeed. But if you're a person who just wants to get it done, like you want to succeed fast, and as fast as possible, and you don't mind doing whatever it takes in order to get there, we'll see about that. But then I would recommend rather slashing your expenses massively, like radically, just slash them, because that's gonna help you in the long run like crazy, okay? You have no idea how much $1 can help you if that $1 is per day, okay? $1 per day can make you rich, okay? That's going to take a long time, of course, but imagine if you increase that to $10 a day, or $100 a day, which is completely possible, or $1,000 per day that you're actually investing either in your businesses or in stocks or anything else. Okay, we want to get you to that level where you can massively invest in other people. Okay, we're not talking about putting it in the bank and helping the banks. Okay, because that's what most people are doing these days. No one is keeping, that I know of anyway, are keeping their money in their mattresses anymore. They put that in the bank. Okay, that's not necessarily a safe place to put it, though I would say it's safer than the mattress. But in general, the bank is not really the best place to keep your money either. Like, it's a third party. They can literally run away with it if they wanted to. But no, the government will take care of it. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. All right? We just don't know. So you need to know where you invest your money, and you need to manage your money yourself. Do not leave that job to someone else. Okay? It's your money, it's your financial freedom, and you don't want it to get wiped out. And then you'll be like, oh, I spent 20, 30 years building this up, and then it's wiped out. That's completely possible, and it still wouldn't be bad because you've learned from it, and since you've learned from it, you could always build it up again. Like let's say Mark Zuckerberg, for example. I use him as an example. You could use Bill Gates, but Mark Zuckerberg, if he lost it all, if Facebook completely collapsed and there was no longer any Facebook or Instagram, right, then he could probably manage to create another social media app. Don't you agree? Yes, exactly. And that's the exact same thing with you. If you build up an empire and you lose it, you know how to do it now. You can always do it again. It's like tying your shoelaces, right? You've tied it once, you could probably do it again. That's what we want to help you have, is that mindset of, I can create this, then I can create more. And if I lose it all, then I can create it again. Got it? That's the correct mindset. So, cutting your expenses, well, what I do, okay, I have an app on my phone, an iOS app that is called Spending 2, okay? It's not a good app, but it's the app that works here in Norway on my phone, and out of all the ones that I've tried, it's the best one. So that's the one I use. You have to put in everything manually. Nothing goes automatically. It's sad, okay? If you're an iOS developer, then try and find out how to create an app that works for everyone. I've heard Mint.com is fantastic in the US, but I've waited for 10 years for it to come to Norway. So if you don't live in the US, then you'll have to use something else. Alright, but it's fantastic if you can find something that automatically tracks your spending every time you use your card. That would be awesome, okay? But not everyone in the world has that, and that includes me. So that's why you have to be especially good at tracking if you live anywhere else but the US. And I started tracking that 2.5 years ago, and 6 months later I could quit my job. So start doing that. Once you track your expenses, then you've got 2 categories. Remember, I talked about that yesterday. The 2 categories are rent and electricity. I put them in one category. I put my rent expense a bit higher than what my rent is, so that I can pay for the electricity, and also so I have some extra money that I can use on house things. Or like if you own your own house, then you could do that and have extra things, kind of like maintenance and things like that. Or to buy a new washing machine or whatever would happen. But if you rent, you know, kind of the same thing. And then you have living expenses, like daily living expenses. What I do is I take my food budget and I increase it a little bit tiny more to kind of cover all the rest of my expenses, all right? And what I do, the living expenses account, I keep 2 accounts. And right now I've started with 3 because you gotta set aside taxes in order to pay them as well. But I got 2 that I use on a regular basis, and those are for the rent and the living expenses. The money comes in, right? and then you put a little bit at a time in your debit card, the card that you carry with you every single day and that you use. You want there to be as little money as possible on that card, and it should only be for your daily usage. So for example, if your budget is $600 a week, let's say $2,400 in a year, now in a month, as if you use US dollars as a measurement, then I would put $300 twice a week. If you have an automatic way of doing it that it deposits to you daily, that's even better, because you want to have as little money as possible on that account for you to spend. Yes, you'll get arguments with your wife. If you have a wife right now, massive arguments, because you're going to cut down her lifestyle. That's the worst thing you can do with a woman, is to give her something and then take it away. Alright? It's the worst thing. So you're going to have arguments if you do that, if you're married or have a girlfriend that you've been living with for a long time. So, but if you're by yourself, you can't argue with yourself. You'll just not have money on that account. You're trying to force yourself to be disciplined yourself, alright? So you put, I personally put twice a week, okay? $300 twice a week, and we basically spend it. We use it up every time, and it's difficult to wait for the next one, okay? That's a fantastic thing, because what's happening is that your cash flow, your positive cash flow, is now increasing, alright? What's gonna happen with that cash flow? What do you do with the extra cash flow you're gonna have every single month from now on? And that you're gonna keep building and keep increasing because you're increasing your investments. What you're gonna do is you are gonna pay down your bad debt. I'll go into detail about what bad debt is, but you're gonna pay down your credit cards, your consumer loans, everything that has a high interest rate, everything above 10% or even above 5%. Just pay it off. Just get rid of it, alright? I use my cash flow to get rid of that, because then you can be debt-free, have no issues, and life is perfect, okay? If you have your own house, I would not focus on getting it and paying that down. It's just a waste, okay? Rather sell it or have someone else living in it, and then I spoke about this yesterday. But in general, you now are increasing your cash flow systematically and automatically, alright? And your cash flow will continue to increase. What do you do with that extra cash flow? Like I said, you pay down on your debt, okay, your bad debt, and then what do you do next? Once you've paid off your bad debt, what do you do? I would recommend that you do not keep that money in the bank. Even people say that you should have 3 to 6 months buffer in case something happens or in case blah blah blah. If something happens, okay, you can always use your credit card and pay it off next month, okay? Credit cards are a buffer in general, alright? Yes, you could cut up your credit cards, and that'd probably be a wise thing to do if you can't control yourself. But if you can control yourself, you know you're disciplined, you don't want any credit card debt anymore, you only use it for a buffer. Alright, and that will cover your expenses so that you can pay it back immediately the following month. Right? So if you don't need that 3 to 6 month buffer, what do you do with the money? What I would do is I would invest it directly into my business. I wouldn't borrow money. I wouldn't put your credit card money into your business. Now you're starting to live dangerously again. I would put my extra cash flow, the money I have, into my business, into whatever I want to create, alright? If I lose that money, I can always build it up again, right? Or you can put it in the stock market or cryptocurrency. But that's a problem with that, because you don't know specifically if it's going to go up or down. You're basically giving your money into someone else's hands. I'd rather keep it in my hands in the beginning, and then eventually I'll be able to kind of delegate, because, you know, I love people and I want to invest with them and in them. But For now, I would invest it in your business in building up your empire first. Just build your cash flow. It would be fantastic, okay? And then you can invest it in stocks and crypto if that's interesting to you, but then you gotta know what you're doing. So I wouldn't do that immediately, all right? You've got the point. You figure it out. Maybe you do half. You invest half in your business and half in stocks and crypto. That's possible too. I wouldn't do funds. I wouldn't do funds with diversified portfolios where the brokers take the percentage that they do. That's not necessary, guys. Maybe in the future when they don't take that much percentage, then maybe. But right now, having it in the market, in market funds, it's not worth it, really. I really, really recommend that you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad to get a proper understanding about money. Alright, there's two things you need to know in this world. It's how to work with people and how money works. How to have money work for you. If you got those two, you're basically set. Do you need a college degree then? No. Do you need a high school degree then? Not really, okay? Oh, it says that people who graduate from college or graduate from high school, they have a better life than those that don't. Yeah, but you can probably be one of those that don't graduate from high school and still manage perfectly. Like, I'm that extreme, okay? If I could go back, I'd probably do the same thing. I really would not want to go to school at all. I just want to learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to type on a computer, learn all the basics of life that I need, and then I want to be self-educated on the things that interests me and that I'm passionate about and that I can provide for the world, solutions that I can provide for the world. There's so much waste going on in this world, so much that we could just apply. If we just had one thing of the speed of implementation, I believe it's Tony Robbins that speaks about that. If we could just apply that to our lives and implement the things that we self-educate ourselves on and get coaches and get internships, but in the sense of like, I want to learn something from you directly, specifically. I don't want to learn anything else. I want to have your lifestyle, the coaching lifestyle, the master, the apprentice lifestyle. That's the best one. School is a massive, massive waste of time. And I'm so grateful I quit in my second year of college before I completed my third year. In Norway, it's 3 years before you complete your bachelor's. I'm so glad I quit. It was just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And same thing with my job. I'm so glad I quit. Sometimes it's really good to quit because then you're able to focus on the things that you love to do. And that's what I'm doing today, and that's what I want to help you do on the Men of High Value channel. Day 19, guys. Keep along. We're going to make this a massive success, and I want you to join me. And my name is Joseph Darling, and I'll see you again tomorrow.